So, you think you've got what it takes. You think you can hang with the big dogs, the coffee connoisseurs. Well, you're in luck, because I'm going to take you to a world of coffee that you didn't even think was possible with the Chemex. Here's what you're going to need to brew the best cup of coffee you'll have ever had. 1 gooseneck tea kettle. Chemex brand coffee filters. Locally sourced coffee. Freshly ground, preferably with a grinder found in your own kitchen. A mug, maybe your favorite mug that you just love to drink out of. And a tablespoon measurement to give yourself a consistent pour. And finally, the Chemex. Let's get started. First, you're going to take that gooseneck kettle we mentioned earlier, and you're going to fill that up with some hot water. Throw that on the stove and let that thing start to boil. Crank it all the way up to high. Grab your Chemex filter. Open it up so that the 3 flaps are facing all on one side. And you're going to spread that open and make sure that all the flaps are facing away from the handle of your Chemex and towards the pour spout, like so. Oh, look at that water boil. Once your water is nice and boiling, you're going to let it cool down for a second. Then you're going to wet the filter of your Chemex in a nice swivel motion. Don't pour in too much water. You don't want to ruin it. Be sure to dump out that excess water. That was Ground your coffee. The more fresh beans, the better. Luckily, I happen to have some from this morning. Ground up fresh. Next, grab your tablespoon measurement. You're going to want about 4 tablespoons of that fresh ground coffee. And it should give you about 2 solid cups. Just go on and dump those right into your Chemex filter. Then grab that gooseneck kettle. And now we're going to start one of my favorite processes, the blooming process. In a nice, gentle motion, you're going to pour that sweet, hot water right into the Chemex. You're going to get those grounds nice and wet so that they start to bubble. Make sure every bit of ground is wet, and you're going to let that sit for about 45 long seconds. This brings out the aroma and the flavor of that coffee. In a nice swiveling or circular motion, the choice is up to you. You're going to fill that Chemex all the way up till about an inch of space from the top. Look at that sweet, beautiful color. Once the majority of that water is drained out, you'll go in for your second pour. This time making sure that you get all the coffee grounds that are on the edges. You can just take a moment to really soak in the beauty that is the Chemex. Fill up that mug with that nice hot water so you can get it nice and toasty and ready for that coffee to hit the bottom of your mug. Once your coffee is passed over that sweet nipple on the belly of the Chemex, you'll know that you've got just the perfect amount for 2 full cups of coffee. You're going to want to dispose of that filter in a nice, responsible way. If you can compost those grounds, that'd be pretty cool. If you can't, maybe you should look into figuring out how to compost those grounds. Then you're going to give that Chemex a nice swirl to get those juices flowing. Make sure every cup is consistent. And now for my next favorite part, the pour. The way that just fills up perfectly. Now, you've done it. You've made the greatest cup of coffee you'll ever have. If coffee is something you drink every single day, it's worth it to put all that love and affection into every single cup that you brew. It's worth it to spend a little bit more on that locally sourced coffee. It's worth it to make yourself the best cup of coffee you can have every single morning.